Hey board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back in the Gumbo pot, this time with our continuing series, 3 rules you might miss the first time you play SENSU. Let's get right to the table. SENSU is a card game from DB Games designed by Enrico Vicario, and what it is it's putting together fans in the Japanese style and trying to score points, trying to get to 15 points before anybody else, at least 15 points. And you do that on your turn by just taking one of two actions. You're either going to draw some cards into your hand, or you're going to play cards in the hope of putting together fans. When you're drawing the cards, you're going to draw them either from this face down deck, and you'll draw 2 cards from there and take a look at those cards. You'll discard one of those cards and keep the other one, or you can draw them from the face-up discards of other players, or your own discard deck. So it's a way to get back a card either from your discard or from other players. And when it's time to play cards, you're playing cards that you have a total of 15 points in your hand. That's these numbers on the side here. If you have 15 points, and for instance, in this particular case, I do have 15 points. If you have exactly 15 points, you can play these cards. You'll take the card that has the highest number of sticks for the fan, in this case, the 1. You'll pick that one, and you'll also get some bonuses for every one of matches that you have. For instance, we've got 2 greens here. We've also got 2 5s here. So we can play 2 bonus fans. There's 5 different colored fans from red and pink and green and yellow and blue. And we're trying to get all 5 of those if we can. In the base game, it's a race to get the 5 fans, but we like the advanced game. And the advanced game, what you're trying to do is score as many points. And the points come from what they call puff points. Those are either putting together these fans, and when you put them together, you'll start playing fans of those colors like this and kind of fanning them out like that. And when the sticks, which are denoted right here, but also in the artwork, when the sticks equal at least 7, you've completed that fan. You want to get it exactly 7 when you complete it, because then you'll get the bonus. For instance, if I had done these here, these little pink ones here, let's just assume that these were 7 and I closed it out. If it's exactly 7, you get 5 puff points. That's fantastic. If it's more than 7, which can happen a lot, you only get 3. A little bit of a difference there. And we're trying to get to at least 15. And once that happens, we'll finish out the round and the player with the most amount of points wins. There's a couple other ways of getting points. And that's these little tokens here. Whenever we play a card into our fan, and it's called redeeming in the game, when we redeem a card that has one of these 5 symbols, we'll get that token and we'll put it on the matching symbol. These are special powers that you can play. It's not a how-to video. I'm just kind of giving you that high-level overview. But these five powers are pretty cool. They'll give you cards, or they'll let you play cards right to a fan, for instance. And also, they give you a shot at these 3 additional puff points. These puff points come whenever you have at least 4 tokens on the board. And then there's only 2 of these in a 4 or 5 player game, only 1 of these in a 2 or 3 player game. So they're pretty valuable because they give you a locked in 3 points. And then you can start spinning your tokens. The other special token, and again, there's only 2 of these for a 4 and 5 player game, 1 for a 2 or 3 player game. You can get 3 points if you've got 5 fans started. You don't even have to have them completed. You just have to have them started. So that's basically the game. We're going to draw cards, we'll play cards, and we're trying to build fans out of the 5 different colors in an effort to score 15 or more points faster than the other players. But let's get to 3 rules you might miss the first time you play. There's a hard limit in this game of 5 cards in your hand. If you go over 5, you're going to have to discard some cards. But if you play cards to the tableau and building that fan out, and you run out of cards, in other words, you've played all of your cards and you discarded what you don't have, and now you're left with no cards, there's a little bonus. And so that first rule is about where that bonus comes from. Make sure it's a little tiny part in the rule book and you might miss it. You draw that card from the deck, not from the discards. What I mean by that is you can never have 0 cards in your hand. If you ever get to 0, you're able to get 1 free card, but it's a random card from the top of the discard. Just be careful about that. Second rule you might miss is about discarding cards. Now, I told you that one of the two actions is to draw cards or to play cards, right? You got to do one or the other. So let's say you're drawing cards, and you don't really like any of the discards that are out there, so you draw two from the top of the deck. That's one of the draws, either two from the top of the deck, discarding one, or taking one from one of the other players' discards, the top of their discards. But when you draw these cards, what happens to them? Well, one of these cards is going to stay in your hand, and the other card is going to get discarded. But what if you have more cards, which you should? Let's say you have 5 cards in your hand. And these are the 2 cards that I just drafted. Let's say I've got this here. I've got these 3 cards. I draft these 2 cards. Just be careful when you're teaching the game that the discards, at least as far as we can tell from the rules, suggest that you can discard any card from the 5 that you already have, or whatever you have in your hand. In other words, when you draft 2 cards from the deck like this, you have to keep one of them, and you have to discard another card out of your hand. So it could be, you could discard one of these other cards instead, not necessarily the one that you just drafted. All right, so we talked about how to score points, and that's coming from building out those fans, getting at least 7 sticks, or however many you can, but hopefully 7 so you can get the 5 pup points. But how do you do that? And that's when you're redeeming cards. So what I mean by that is if you've got 15 points in your hand, so let's say we've got 15 right here. Let's say this is my hand. I've got 15 total points. Now I'm able to redeem cards by building out a fan. How do we do that? Well, we will show the players that we've got 15 points. It's 10 plus 5 is 15. And then the card with the highest amount of fans is going to be the card that we have to play. So assuming I don't have a yellow one already, because you can only do 1 fan of each color. So let's say this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to go ahead and play that yellow card to start a yellow fan. Okay. Then after that, I also get a bonus because I've got a tie with these 2 yellows. Matches on colors and matches on numbers give you an extra card to redeem. And you can keep doing that out of the 5 cards. If you have a bunch of matches, you could play the main card and then 1, 2, or even 3 extra cards. You can redeem those and put them in fans as long as you have a legal play. So just be careful about this. It's kind of a tricky rule. It takes a little while, a couple of rounds. When you're playing that first game, remember that the first card you play, the one that you're going to redeem, it's got to be your highest fan. If there's a tie, you get to pick which one it is. After that, it's going to be your lowest fan. All the bonus cards are actually the lowest amount of fans. In this particular case, I've got a match of 2 yellows. I don't have any other matches. That means I'm going to get to redeem 1 card, the highest amount of sticks. In this case, this 4 is a 2 sticks. All the 4s are 2 sticks. So I would play that one. I also have 1 extra one. The 6 and the 5 are 1 stick fans. So I could pick either one of those. I will take the 5, so that way now I've got 3, and then the other one goes into my discard, letting other people pick it up, or if I want to use it. So just remember, first card is always going to be the one with the most sticks. Every bonus redemption after that is going to be one of your lowest. If there's any ties, you get to make the choice. All right, that's 3 rules. Let me give you just one lagniappe. When it was a little tricky the first time I read it, when you have situations where you have multiple ways like this to do some matches, I thought that it was you play the card, then you reevaluate to see if there are any matches, meaning one of these cards might have been taken out and there's not a match anymore. But after reading the rules 2 or 3 times, I don't think that's right. I think what the designer is saying is that you evaluate the cards you're playing that equals to 5, and then that's how you decide how many cards to redeem. So I'm going to look at these 3 cards. I've got a match of 2 yellows. That means I've got 1 card to play, and then I've got another bonus. How would it work the other way? Well, at first we thought okay, I've got the yellows. I've got 15, so I'm going to take this card out. Now I don't have any matches. And I don't think that's right. I think the designer's intention is that we evaluate these, the way I read the rules, you evaluate these, decide how many you do, in this case 2, because we've got the main one and then the one for the 2 yellow matches, and then take your bonuses there. So I'll play my card to redeem, and then I'll play my bonus redemption. If I've missed that, if we're not reading it correctly, just let me know and we'll fix this we'll post it in the comments and we'll fix the video in there. But that's what we thought. All right, this isn't a full review video, of course. This is just kind of a 3 rules that we want to make sure you didn't miss. But I can't help but throw in here that we absolutely adore this game. I've taught this game now to 4 or 5 different people. I've played it I haven't played 5 players yet, but I've played every other play count, and it's fantastic. The turns are breezy. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous. And while I have lots of card games, lots of set collection games, lots of race games, this one is it just feels clever. The way that you set up the fans there's a lot of thinkery, as we called it, during our game today. It was like, God, we really got to think these things through and plan it. And, we also noticed that it's a game about not necessarily being perfect. You want to be perfect, and it's frustrating when you can't get your numbers to be exactly right. But the goal is to build fans. So you got to make sure that you keep moving toward those goals. Anyway, the designer out there, you knocked it out of the park with this one. This is a really cool game. I think it's going to stay in my backpack, because if I'm at a convention, I'm going to want to pull this out and teach it. It's gorgeous. It's actually fun to teach because the game fits the theme so well. And I don't think, from reading the designer diary, that it really started out this way. Doesn't matter. They picked a great theme with these fans. You really get into picking the sticks, picking the colors, picking these little bonuses. Well done. Really enjoyed SENSU, and we recommend it here in the Gumbo. Until next time, laissez les bon temps rouler.